my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you I'm sick of being normal, I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal, I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold, they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil. Channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Face it, am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time to take it.
All right, what is going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome back to the Locked In podcast. After a little 2-week hiatus from the podcast, essentially 16 days, because we did go live on Tuesday, 7/2, which was 2 days before the 4th because of the holiday there. So, guys, I just want to say, thank you for bearing with us as we're kind of coming back. We had a guest cancellation last week. And that was kind of a topic that I really could not do by myself because I was a little bit reliant on the guests with that one because of their expertise. Not an episode or a topic. This wasn't particularly a topic that I wanted to do on my own. And because it was so last minute, it was very difficult to kind of schedule someone in. What I'm ultimately doing is I'm trying to put barriers in place right now to essentially build a buffer that if there is a cancellation, we can kind of fill the spot. And kind of trying to put certain protocols in place for cancellations and stuff when people can cancel. I understand emergencies happen, so things happen here. You know what I mean? But we are your home for personal development and sports analysis. And I do want to tell you that we have some absolutely phenomenal episodes coming up over the next 6 weeks into September. So I'm loving it. Guys. Blessed to have this platform. I'm hoping you guys can tune in with me tonight. I know it is late. I don't want to go too long, but a lot of people have been giving us feedback on the finance episodes. So this is ultimately where we want to go tonight, and this is what we're going to talk about. I want to make a quick disclaimer here. Rich Mitchell was supposed to come on tonight. He's feeling under the weather, so he's not going to be able to make it. I just kind of got that heads up like half hour ago, so things come up there. And Mario is tentative. He's got a lot going on right now, very busy guy. We're going to see if he can get in here tonight, and we're going to have him scheduled in. So this is one of the episodes that we had planned, we had put together, so kind of see what happens here. But I hope you guys can rock with me. I hope you guys can tune in tonight. Sorry for the last minute promo. But this week has been a little crazy, but just want to say I'm glad to be here. So hopefully I can help you guys out in any way from my expertise in finance. Again, I always want to make the disclaimer that I am not a licensed financial advisor. So anything I'm giving you advice-wise is just based off personalized tips and things I've learned over my 31 years here. So these are things that I've utilized in my own personal portfolios to help build my money, build my savings. If I'm talking about credit, it's things that I've learned to build my credit. So I want to help people try to get above an 800 credit score, which is the threshold that I've hit. So as I've gotten into, as I've been able to get my credit score into the 800s, I like to help other people too, because I didn't always have that score. So credit is one of my passions, investing. And this is like, people like me and my guys who are into the finance side of things, it gets kind of like, you seem like it's almost kind of like nerdy and a little bit boring, but these are important things. We try to sit here and we try to help people out ultimately. So finance isn't always the sexiest topic, but it's definitely a helpful topic. And it's a must. It's a much needed topic. You have to understand this in order to level up your life. Leveling up your credit score helps you level up your life. Leveling up your savings gives you more opportunity. Leveling up your investments, whether it be real estate, stocks, index funds, mutual funds, whatever it is, that helps you financially. It helps you, allows you to do different things, whether it's in retirement, brokerage, building your skill set to obtain more money. And I talk to people about this a lot. Money isn't everything, but it's an important tool. So we always say that here at the podcast. So tonight, guys, episode 179, what we ultimately are talking about here tonight is, number one, this is probably the one that jumped out to you, how to increase your credit score fast to get that score up and as close to 800 as possible. So I'm going to break down the strategies here, very general, but a lot of people don't really look into it as much. So I'm going to teach you guys how to get your credit score up fast. I am also going to talk about how to effectively create a budget. So create an effective budget or optimize a budget. So budgeting 101, there's different styles of budgets. So everybody hears a budget. Oh, I got to put money here. Well, there's different strategies you can utilize to budget your money. So I'll walk through that. And I also want to talk emergency fund, because emergency fund and a budget are a little bit different. I'll break down what an emergency fund is and how you create one, what the steps that you take. I'm going to try to keep this into 45 minutes to an hour, and we are already 8 minutes in, so I will not hesitate or delay. We'll see if Mario comes in here tonight. If not, no big deal. So guys, before we even get started, I just want to say, if you're watching on YouTube and you like what you're watching, hit that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification button to turn notifications on. We release new episodes every single week, unless it's a hiatus week regarding personal development and sports. You don't want to miss it. But really, guys, I want you guys to hit that subscribe button and definitely hit that like button if you like what you see, because what this ultimately does is this actually has YouTube's algorithm push this content out. So us here at the podcast, myself or any of my colleagues who are on here, the regular guests on here, what we can do is we can help other people. So tonight I'm talking credit. I'm talking effectively creating an effective budget, talking emergency fund. I want to help people. That's the goal of this podcast. So you guys liking, you guys commenting, you guys subscribing, all that stuff does is it tells YouTube to push this content out so we can help other people. So guys, I appreciate you guys if you're doing that. On Facebook, I'm assuming you're already part of the group if you're watching, so I do thank you for that. Again, hit the like button, and Facebook will push our group out as well. Same thing. Hit the like button, comment, engage. Appreciate it. Even if you're just watching or tuning in, I do appreciate you. But if you like what you're watching, give us a like. All right. So I don't want to hesitate. I want to keep this 45 minutes to an hour. Mario might come in. I see some viewers have come in. So heads up, guys. Rich Mitchell is not feeling great. So, I hope Rich feels better and things happen. So I'm going to take this one, and Mario is tentative. So we'll see if Mario comes in here tonight. If not, no big deal. All right. So I want to start with my notes here. Give me 1 second. On an emergency fund. So guys, emergency fund and a budget are different. They are not the same thing. So I'm going to break down what an emergency fund is, and I'm going to give you some steps on how to create one. All right, guys. So an emergency fund, plain and simple, from the black and white definition of it, is money in a bank account that's set aside for unplanned expenses such as medical bills, car repairs, home repairs. Essentially, what they tell, in layman's terms, what they tell you, saving money for a rainy day. Now, this is something that goes into your budget. It's not a budget, though. I've heard people actually refer to emergency fund. Oh, that's my budget. They're two different things. They're not the same. An emergency fund is unplanned expenses. Is exactly what it is. It's for an emergency, just like the title suggests. So, an emergency fund, it ultimately helps you breathe easier, knowing that you can handle life's curveballs, and life will throw you obstacles. There's going to be things that happen. I've had things happen with my car. Curveball, not expecting it. Medical bills have been relatively healthy. Haven't had too many, but these are definitely things that plague us here, not just in America, but worldwide. But America is a big one because medical costs are, I'll be honest, the healthcare system is absolute shit here in America. So it's not good. Home repairs. If you're a homeowner, these things, pop up. They tell you in real estate, if you're a real estate agent, most real estate agents, if you're working with an agent to buy a home, you're a home buyer, they're going to tell you to make sure you have a threshold and have a little bit of money put away. Don't put everything into your closing costs and your down payment when you're buying a home, because home repairs are almost inevitable. Even if your house is new, things can happen. If it's brand new construction, it's less likely to have issues, but that doesn't mean that there won't be issues, even with a thorough home inspection. So an emergency fund is essentially, it reduces your need. This comes to the credit card side, to rely on high interest credit cards or even costly personal loans. Because, that's another thing. You can get personal loans for sudden expenses. So I'm going to walk through why is an emergency fund important? An emergency fund is an essential part of a solid financial plan. So with your budget comes the emergency fund. It can help you pay for unexpected expenses and avoid taking on more debt. Like I just said, credit cards or personal loans. Not having enough emergency savings can also cause a sense of financial anxiety. More than half, 57% of Americans are uncomfortable with their level of emergency savings. Now, that's just personal. They actually could have a good amount of money and maybe it still gives them anxiety. But I'm more than willing to bet that, with this country, I've seen the debt statistics and what people have and, everything like that. I'm more than willing to bet that that's probably not the case. Most people don't have money put away for a rainy day. We live in a consumeristic society where everybody wants to live above. Not everybody, but majority of Americans, especially in the society in the Western sense, like to live above their means. A lot of people don't talk finances. And some people that you might think are doing well might actually not be doing well behind the scenes. This is something, here's a statistic right here. 2/3 of Americans are worried that they wouldn't be able to cover a month's worth of expenses if they lost their job tomorrow. Now, your circumstances matter here. If you're able to, luckily enough, live at home and save money, you should absolutely have money put away. Now, if you're paying rent or you're paying a mortgage, a lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This has been a big thing that we've seen, as a lot of people don't have money put away. Another thing is, like I said, going all in on a house and having nothing saved after that is big too. If you're living in like the Philadelphia or even Philadelphia area, Pennsylvania, I do encourage you guys, if you're first-time home buyers, to check with a realtor on a lot of the assistance programs that can help you. There's a lot out there that I've seen and people I know that are personally realtors. It's something that I'm working towards too with my license. Realtors, one of the things I can tell you is they have knowledge that you do not a lot of times. So talk to them. There's a lot of government assistance programs or just assistance programs in general that can help you get money towards, if you're a first-time home buyer, to help you cover your down payment assistance and closing costs, which is big. It allows you to kind of keep a nest egg saved for when you buy your first home, so you have things in the bank. So, because you'll notice a lot of people really aren't doing the conventional loan thing, the 20%. People go, oh, you got to have a 20% down payment. Majority of people are not paying that. I'm going to tell you that right now, especially in this market right now, not doing that. But anyway, let's talk about how much to save inside of an emergency fund. All right. So an emergency fund, ideally, it should cover about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. But saving that amount takes some time. To help you get started, begin with small goals and say something like $5 a day. Realistically, if you want to go all in, I would try to save more than that. This is what they advise you. They tell you $5 a day. $5 a day can lead to 150 a month. It really depends on your circumstances. It can feel like a mountain, but your goals really depend what your emergency fund is really going to be. So I'm going to tell you your 7 steps. I'm actually just going to get right to it. So when it comes to an emergency fund, I'd say, we're actually going to get into the budget side of things, but start with a budget and see where you can start saving more money. See the areas where you can cut back. What are necessities? What are things that are very important to you? And what are not? The great, I don't want to say great, but, Ramit Sethi, he has a book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. He says in the book, you can't spend on everything, but what do you really enjoy? There's certain pleasures that you're going to enjoy. Maybe it's getting a latte, every single day. If that's it, spend on that. And then what other areas of pleasure are you spending? If they're not necessities, they're you could do the lattes, but you don't necessarily need other things. Cut mercilessly on them. So figure out where you can cut money. What is not considered a necessity to you? And then when you're choosing pleasure things, like things that you really enjoy doing, having money to do, maybe it's eating out, maybe it's certain things, maybe it's shopping, whatever it is, put some money aside for that, but cut on the other areas. You can't do everything. And if you really want to continue to spend that type of money and still save money, you have to make more money. So it's really only your option. So you have to really figure out where you can start saving more money and cutting back. It takes sacrifice. Determine what your emergency fund goal is. Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? And you have to figure out what your expenses are monthly, what you're spending, break down what you're spending, and you want to put that aside, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 6 months, whether it's 12 months for the year mark. Set up direct deposit. So what I would say is maybe you can have money that automatically comes out of your account. That direct deposit can be taken out of your check, maybe, whether you're getting paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is. You can have money that's automatically put aside, and that can go towards your emergency fund. Gradually increase your savings for step 4. So that's important. If you can increase how much you save, the more you can put into emergency fund. Number 5, save unexpected income. So anything you receive that's unexpected, you maybe have some type of income that came in, you weren't expecting it for that month. You didn't have that in your budget. Save that money. Don't go spend it. A lot of Americans who didn't, you didn't make a certain threshold, they received, stimulus checks during COVID. And I'm willing to bet that the majority of people spent those stimulus checks. If you took those stimulus checks and, I'm not saying that some of them maybe weren't a necessity for some people, but if you had that money and it was just spent on bullshit, let's be realistic. It's money that you could have saved, but you didn't do it. So everybody's circumstances are different. Maybe for some people that was really a necessity. And I can absolutely believe that it was a pandemic. Number 6, keep saving after reaching your goal. So just because you reach your goal doesn't mean you don't stop saving. You can continue to save, invest or maybe park it in a certain avenue, whether it's a certificate of deposit, CD, whether it's another investment vehicle, an index fund, put money towards your retirement, whatever it is, a savings goal for traveling, buying a house, whatever it is, and maybe an investment property. Put that money, continue to save money or continue to park it in an investment vehicle that's going to make you money. There's nothing wrong with having more money. Just find ways to, you don't have to just stop because you hit a certain goal, keep putting money away. You'll benefit long term. And then number 7, use a bank account bonus to jumpstart your savings as well. That would be my 7th tip. And ultimately, what I mean by that is banks frequently will offer you cash incentives, new customers for opening checking and savings accounts. So the additional cash can go towards establishing emergency funds. There are actually banks out there that I have seen that are offering $3,000 in bonuses. Like, this is crazy. So really look into this. $3,000 in bonuses for opening a new checking account or savings account, or to those who refer a friend or family member. So this is something that a lot of people don't really recognize. They might be able to take advantage of. In addition to the bank account bonus, another way you can increase your bank account balance is making sure you get the best return on your money. The best rates can often be found at online banks, which don't have overhead costs to maintain their branches. So be mindful of that. I have a savings account through Marcus by Goldman Sachs. It's not a physical branch that I have it. It's an online savings account. I get a really, really solid interest rate on my savings because of that. So maybe something to look into. I did it years ago. Maybe I'll actually look and actually see what other competitors' rates are out there as well compared to. But it's a pretty good rate. Keeping your savings organized also can help you keep you on track to meet your financial goals. That's obvious. Consider housing your emergency fund in a separate account than in a vacation fund, for instance. This may help you prevent tapping into the emergency savings, because it's an emergency. Travel really is an emergency. That's money you save and put aside into your pleasure account because you want it for travel. An emergency is something you need for emergencies. Some bank accounts allow you. Bottom line, emergency funds are very, very important. It's crucial for financial stability and peace of mind. It can help cover unexpected expenses and to prevent the need for high interest loans or credit cards. Credit card debt. The typical aim that you want to go is 3 to 6 months, but you can go longer. You can go 12 months, whatever. Whatever helps you sleep at night, whatever makes you feel better, and whatever you are comfortable with. Start small, make it a priority, and then this can make all the difference in terms of financial uncertainty. So that is emergency funds. So Ray commented in here. He said Roth IRA. Ray, you're absolutely right. Roth IRA is a great investment vehicle for retirement. That's for sure. So, guys, if you are thinking about retirement, IRA, I always say individual retirement account, a Roth. The only difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA is there's two different. There's different kinds. Traditional IRA, I'll give you an example. Essentially, you are not being taxed on the money you put in for a traditional IRA, but you're being taxed when you take it out. Now, a Roth IRA, you're taking post-tax dollars, you're putting them into the IRA, but when you retire, and you hit that 59 and a half, whatever, or whatever age, or 65, or 401k is 59 and a half, whenever you want to retire, 65, 60, 55, whatever your retirement date is, you take that, you hit the target fund, and you can take that money out tax free. So, whenever you have to wait till your retirement date, you take that money out tax free when you retire. So, that's a Roth IRA. Look more into it. There's plenty of options. Vanguard's an option. There's plenty of different people you can invest with. Charles Schwab. Really do your research and see what works for you. Other companies, not just IRAs, but 401ks. That's something that a company usually offers. A lot of companies will match, not all, but a lot of them will. They'll match whatever you contribute. So something to look into. All right, guys. So I am now going to go to, let me see. I'm going to work. I want to check the Facebook comments before I jump to part 2 here. Part 2 of 3. Let me go to our accounts here. No comments there. All right. No comments there. All right. So we just had the YouTube comment. Ray, what is up, brother? Thank you for tuning in, my guy. I appreciate you. Under these financial episodes, man, I'm definitely going to get you on for one as well. So we'll link behind the scenes, man. I want to get you up on here. All right. So now we're actually going to go to the budget side of it. So I want to actually talk to you guys about how to type of budgets that you can create. And we'll actually walk through them because there's different ones. One of the most popular ones, right? I don't think I really need to tell you why budgeting is important. Budgeting is important to really understand your financial picture. You don't really know where your money's going if you don't create a budget. It's very difficult to do it in your head. You really, really have to put that picture together. So creating a budget. A budget, I like to do it after. So you want to see whatever your net income is. Net income is your income after taxes. I wouldn't go gross income. A lot of people like to put gross income into budget figures. I think net income, because that is really the money that you are taking home. Gross income, you're not. You're going to get taxed. So whether you're a W-2 employee or a contractor. Contractors have to put money aside for taxes. Always remember that if you're a contractor. I don't think I need to tell you that, but there's a lot of people I've seen on like financial shows that do not do that. And then they get caught up and they think that they can figure it out in their head. And it's like, no, you need to be putting money aside for taxes or the IRS is going to screw you. All right. So this is the most popular budget model. You've probably heard of it, the 50-20-30 budget rule. Essentially 50% of your net income, the income that comes in after taxes, is going to go to your needs. It's 50% of it. 20% should go to savings and 30% should go to your wants. It's not a perfect model for everybody, though. You know, this is a model that a lot of people say, but it's not. It's not a perfect model. There's no such thing as a perfect budget model for everybody. You know, wants and needs. You want to be familiar with what the idea of wants and needs are. What's the difference? And putting money aside for saving too, 20%. So, for example, if you're making, say, you're pulling in $4,000 a month after taxes. Essentially $2,000 is going to go to needs. You're going to take 30% of that. So let me pull out my calculator here. Take that and we go 4,000 goes to that. So you got $1,200 in wants. Divide that by 4. It's just $300 a week. It's actually a good amount. Depends on what your lifestyle is. And then out of that 4,000, you're going to take 800. That goes to savings and other things. Now, 2,000 in this day and age might not be a lot. You know, you might have a mortgage payment that's like almost 2,000. So it's tough. It's tough. You really have to see, you know, how much your budget is or what you're doing or how you spend. That's why I say it's not a perfect model for everybody. There's also a pay yourself first method. So I want to walk you guys through this one. Essentially, the first bill you pay every month is to your you pay every month is to your savings account. So you're going to pay that money to yourself first before you pay anything on your needs. Transfer a predetermined amount into your savings at the beginning of the month. Make sure you do that on your first pay. After you pay yourself, you should pay your bills and then the rest however you please. So instead of starting with needs, you're going to start with paying yourself. And by paying yourself, I don't mean go into your wants immediately. You want to go to the savings side of it and then pay your bills and then go to the wants. This is a method that works for some people. There's also a zero-based budget. A zero-based budget, every single dollar of your income is assigned to a specific expense, leaving you with a balance of zero. So, you know, that's this method requires you to anticipate all your upcoming expenses so you can allot your income to the appropriate expenses. Be sure to include saving into this plan as well. Just remember that one. If you don't plan to spend all of your income, you can assign what's left to the savings expense. Some people, they unfortunately don't make enough to save. Their expenses are too high. That's why you really have to figure out where you got to cut back. But this method also, ultimately, the zero-based budget, it ensures that you have a plan for each dollar and won't make impulse purchases. So that's something that could help you tackle bills. So that might actually be an effective method if you struggle to pay your bills on time or whatever, and you struggle to find the things. Make sure you pay your bills first. You allocate money to them, and then you have the rest of the money. And there's also a strategy called the envelope budget. In the envelope budget, you put specific amounts of money into envelopes, physically with cash or electronically with an app or spreadsheet. So there's apps that can do this for you now too. Ultimately, these represent different budget categories. Once you have the exhausted funds in the envelope that they need to be in, you can no longer spend within that budget category until the next month. So this is an effective method, a very interesting method, actually, I think, to do this. So if you have remaining funds at the end of the month after this, you actually have a few options you can do. You can roll over the remaining funds into the same envelope the next month to catch up, and then you'll have money left over as you go on and build that pile. Or you can transfer the remaining funds into a different envelope, or third, put the remaining funds into savings for a later date. So there are different methods to budgeting. These are things that are crucial as well. So these are just the different budgeting techniques that you can utilize. They're honestly really depends on your lifestyle. It really depends on your income, of what you make, what your needs are, what your debt is, etc. So that really depends. Now, also, essentially with budgets, it's just making a budget. It's really going to help you understand the picture of your finances. What I mean by this is if you can see where your money's coming in and where your money's going out, it allows you to at least confidently make decisions about that money. If you're not looking at a budget, or say you've never ever created one, it's probably a good time to start now, because you need to understand where your money's going. Even if you are saving a good bit of money, maybe you just don't spend a lot of money. Maybe you live a very simple lifestyle and maybe you make a good amount of money. I think it's good to know where your money's going. You never know when you might fall on tough times, and you need to understand your finances. I think it's always good to understand them and to try to make it as simple as possible. It doesn't need to be super extensive where you're spending hours and hours and hours a month of really breaking your budget down into a million different categories. I think you just want to keep it as simple as possible. And if you're struggling financially, I always say that you either need to do one of two things. If you're seeing at the end that you are left with negative money, one of two things needs to happen. You need to figure out where you can cut down. And if it's like significant debt that's really doing this, it's not wants, you need to make more money. You need to level up your skill set. You need to make more money. And that is a harsh reality, but it's just the truth. And the more that we can kind of tackle that, the better we can be. And I am very empathetic to everybody's situation because everybody's situation is different. And I've seen some people that are in very tough financial situations, maybe from mistakes they made in their past. I really empathize. But that's why starting with a budget is one of the most crucial things you can do, guys. And you don't have to do this on paper. There's a lot of budgeting apps out there that can help you with things. There's even as simple as having Microsoft Excel. You can go in, and when you first open up Excel, there's a templates tab, and you can open it, and you can go to business or budgeting tools. And there's a lot of good budget softwares that you can use. I can actually show you guys real quick because I do have Excel open. So let me actually just share my screen with you. No. All right, so I'm actually going to share my screen with you for a second. Just give you an example. If you do indeed have Excel, how simple this can be. So when you open Excel, you're actually going to see that there's something here new. I already have some things that were open here, some cash flow statements and budget trackers. Let's just do it from the side. Let's go here. Like this is how you'll see if you've never opened up a template here. You want to click budgets. This can open up multiple different things for you. Business budgets, monthly food budget, college expense. You can open up this one here. It's a personal monthly budget. There's ones that are more simplified, ones that break down all this stuff. It's a lot of options here. And the good thing is this is completely free. It doesn't cost, as long as you have Excel. This doesn't cost anything. There's a lot of free budgeting software out there too. Let's click this, for example. You open this up and it can break down your budget for you. And you'll see it's actually formula based. Up here, you'll see. So when you type something in, it's going to have an effect. All formula based. This is a sorry, I'm actually not for some reason. Sorry. I thought I was give me 1 second. Let me share again. This wasn't sharing the correct window. All right, here we go. So this is one of the budgets that we opened up there. It's all formula based, so you can see you can pick up this. This is picking up different things as well. But this allows you to really track your expenses. It's a good budgeting tool. It's just a template. It's very, very simple. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing insane. But you can you can tailor these to whatever you want it to be. It doesn't need to be these certain names, retirement account, investment. You can really just change these around as you please. But overall, not a bad tool to start. So if you have Microsoft Excel, really check out what those templates are. And the beauty about the templates is I won't go down all of them, but there's a lot of different options for people that are really looking to go in. Like I said, if you go to new here, you'll see there's a bunch of different templates, planners and trackers. You can go to there's ones for personal, calories, all different types of things, loan calculators. If you have a business, a lot of them for your business statements. There's invoices, all different types of stuff in here. So guys, really explore if you have Excel and check it out. Not a bad option to go. So let me exit out there. All right, so it's the budgeting side of it. It's budgeting 101, different budget types, the importance of a budget, how to create. If you guys, honestly, what I want to do is starting in the fall is I want to try to put together a tailored course on credit and tailored course. And I'm going to start it out as free information. And the more people that join, we might ramp up a small cost. But I just want to build a community for you guys, and I can honestly help you out and give you really in-depth tips and things that I've utilized to really get me to a certain level. So I want to help you guys out. So as we get more in depth, but we will still always have more financial tips in these series, and we'll continue to grow this series as we move on. And the more people we get on here, the more people can talk and give their perspectives. It's not just me speaking. So let's move to the one that probably excites people the most out of these three. How to grow your credit fast. So how to grow your credit how to build your credit score very quickly. So I'm going to break down some strategies, and it's all going to come into, I'm going to be honest, the main 5 factors that we talked about 2 weeks ago. So there's different things that make up your credit score. The biggest percentage is your on-time payments. Your payment history is huge. Your length of credit history is another one. Your credit utilization. So how much credit card debt do you have till your total credit limit? So debt to income ratio. What is the percentage? How high is it? Ideally, you want it under 30%. I would even say even lower, maybe 10%. You don't want to go over that 30% threshold, though. That's when you start to get in really bad territory. So that's ideal. We talked about that 2 weeks ago. On top of that, you have your credit mix. So do you just have credit cards, or do you have an auto loan, a mortgage, different types of things? And then also your inquiries. So do you have any hard inquiries? Do you have any, if you applied for a credit card recently, you probably have it. If you applied for an auto loan recently, you probably have it. If you applied for a mortgage for a house, you probably have inquiries. But it's a very small percentage, 10%, and they drop off eventually as well. All right, so how to build your credit fast. So I actually have some very personalized tips that I will save for when I do create the program and the course. And there's honestly some really big hacks in there. But I am going to, on a general level, really break down growing your score, even by potentially 100 points. It can help you jump 100 points. These are strategies that you can do. All right, so number 1 here that I have in the notes is you want to pay your card balances strategically. This is a big one. The portion of the credit limit you're using at any given time. What did we talk about 2 weeks ago? Credit utilization. That's what it is. Debt to income. So, debt to credit limit. So how much credit card debt do you have compared to your overall credit limit? For example, if you have $30,000 in credit card debt and you have a $100,000 credit limit, your credit utilization is 30%. Again, we don't want to be over that 30% mark. But it could also be the same thing if you only have a $2,000 credit limit between all your credit cards, and then at the same time you have $1,000. See, it's much less than that 30,000, but you have $1,000. That's 50% credit utilization, which is even worse. You see. So we'll get into how you can get that credit utilization up in a sec. A good guideline is, like I said, the notes say use less than the 30% of your credit limit on any card. You don't want to go above that credit limit. That's what that is the rule of thumb. The highest scorers tend to have credit utilization in the single digits. You want to make sure that your balance is low when the card issuer reports it to the credit bureaus. So understand this when the statement comes out, when it gets reported, because that is what is used in calculating your score. So if you have like a high credit utilization and you actually pay it off before the statement comes out, you got to understand when your statements come out for your credit card. It's not even going to show it. So pay it off before the statement comes out. A simple way to do it is to pay down that balance before your billing cycle ends. To pay several times throughout the month, always keep that balance low. That is what keeps you in good standing and makes your credit utilization look great. The impact is highly influential. Credit utilization is the second biggest factor. This is a big impact. So understand this. Credit utilization is the second biggest factor. I believe it's 30% of your credit score. Payment history is 35%. So that's the biggest pain. You're making your payments on time. Even if you're, and I always say this, do not pay the minimum on your credit cards. But if you're in a tough financial bind, it's better to pay the minimum than to pay nothing. If you don't pay your credit card bills at all, you just let them go, 35%, it's going to really, really take a dip in your score. Huge. There's no excuse for not making any payments at all. Time commitment, low to medium. For this, it's not a lot. You set your calendar reminders to log in and make payments. You make your pay. You can literally, if you want to pay, 1 week and you can pay the next week, you pay again. You just set reminders on your phone, on your calendar, little alerts to know when to pay your balance. You can also do auto pay through a lot of these credit apps. That's also a way to never miss a payment. A lot of these apps, you can either set an alert, or what you can do is you can do auto pay. A lot of the credit card apps for the different credit card companies allow you to do this. So, and it can work really fast. As soon as your credit card reports a lower balance to the credit bureaus, that utilization will be used in calculating your score. So that is actually a really good hack. This is another one. If you want to improve the utilization, ask for higher credit limits. Big one. Ask for higher credit limits, guys. If you're someone who's been in good standing for, now this one could be tricky because you might have to have been in good standing for a little bit, but if you're a responsible credit card user and you can honestly justify, say you have an increase in income, or maybe your expenses are higher, and you call up your credit card company, or maybe even do it through the app, what you can do is you can ask for a higher credit limit. I've done it myself and I've been granted it. So I can tell you that it does work and it increases your utilization. Now, you might not get the credit increase that you're asking for, but they may meet you somewhere in the middle. Sometimes. So when your credit limit goes up and the balance stays the same, it ultimately lowers your credit utilization. Because if you go from, say, $50,000 credit limit and you had a $10,000 balance, and then you go to a $70,000 credit limit and you still have a $10,000 balance, your credit utilization rate goes down, which is good for your credit score. Before you make the request, you're going to want to plan how you'll keep your spending habits steady and not max out that extra available credit. See, that's the thing. A lot of people might increase their credit and then spend more. You got to resist that temptation. You got to develop a plan. Again, this is highly influential because credit utilization is a big part of your score. Time commitment is low. Contact your credit issuer. Doesn't take really long. You can give them a quick phone call and explain. It is possible to get a hard inquiry for these, but I haven't had that happen for a credit increase, I'll be honest. And I've done it quite a few times. But it can happen, which can temporarily drop your score a few points. But the thing about here's the thing. If you're going off of the percentages, credit utilization is 30% of your score. A hard inquiry is only going to affect 10% of your score. So you're going to want to, it's better to ask and take the increase because it's 30% of your score versus 10%. You'd rather take anything that can improve the utilization. It's something that works fast. This is another one that's big. It's not talked about enough. Become an authorized user. Now, this isn't always an option for a lot of people. However, if there's a relative or a friend with a high credit limit, and here's the thing, this is the key one, a good credit history track. So you want to make sure they have a good credit standing. Ideally, a 700 plus score. Ideally an 800 plus score. If they have a very good history of credit, this is big. You can be asked to become an authorized user, maybe on a family member or a very trusted friend. Become an authorized user on their account, and you can piggyback off of their credit history. This is something you can do, and a lot of people don't know that. Again, there's not always an option. Maybe they don't have friends that have good credit limits or trust them enough. Maybe there's family members that have a very poor history credit. Maybe you have a significant other that has a good credit, though, and also same thing. But it is a trust thing. If somebody allows you to become an authorized user, I'm telling you, be responsible. Do not rack up a ton of debt, because that's going to affect their credit score too. So if somebody is trusting you, this is a fantastic opportunity. Do not squander it. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's something. Do not squander becoming an authorized user, because not everybody has this option. Make sure that the account reports to all three major credit bureaus. The major credit bureaus, if you do not know, are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. I personally use Experian the most when I look at my credit scores, but they equally, all three of them, they report their credit bureaus. Impact is potentially high, especially when you're a credit card newbie with a very thin file. This could be huge. If you're somebody who's young and just applying for your first credit card, or you're struggling because you don't have any credit, the impact will be smaller for those with an established credit who are trying to offset the missteps credit utilization. So you got to understand this too. If you have a credit history, and a lot of them are by horrible payment, like horrible payment history and stuff like this, the impact may be small. It may help, but it might be a lot smaller than somebody who has a very thin credit history file. It's a low to medium. Also, time commitment. This is a conversation you're going to have with somebody who's trusted, and they have to be able to trust you to become this authorized user. And it can work fast as well. If you're at it, you can benefit from their credit profile, which is great. This is the biggest one. Pay your bills on time. This is the biggest one, guys. I'm sorry. It's the biggest one. Your credit payment history is 35% of your score if you don't pay your bills on time. Now, look, no strategy can improve your credit. Credit will be effective if you pay late. I'm sorry. There's just no way around that. It's the biggest percentage. It's over 1/3 of your score. Worse, late payments can actually stay on your credit report for up to 7 years, guys. Now, here's the thing. You may have a bad history of payment credit. Maybe you went through a toxic relationship where somebody had something with your credit. Maybe even a family member, racked up a bunch of credit card debt in your name. Maybe you just made very, very irresponsible financial decisions in your youth. Life happens. We make mistakes. We're human beings. Let your mistakes go. Forgive yourself. And going forward, from this day forward, pay your bills on time. If you do this over time, you will eventually offset the bad payment history, and you will get in good standing. This is something, I'm going to be honest, this is something that could take some time. I don't know how this is going to jump your score fast, but over time. If you miss a payment I'm going to break this down for you guys. So if you guys don't know, if you miss a payment by 30 days or more, call the creditor immediately. Have a conversation. Pay up as soon as you can and ask the creditor to consider no longer reporting the missed payments to the credit bureaus. Even if the creditor won't do it, it's worth getting current on the account as soon as possible. Every month an account is marked delinquent hurts your score. The longer it goes on, the more it hurts your score. So have a conversation with your creditor and then just try to get current as quick as possible. Easier said than done for a lot of people. I've known people that have had $100,000 plus in credit card debt. It's scary business, but they're working towards it, paying it down. The impact is extremely influential, guys. I'm telling you, there's nothing that affects your score more than this. Your record of paying bills on time is the largest scoring factor on both your FICO and Vantage Score credit scoring systems. You got to pay your bills. Like I said, forgive yourself for your past mistakes. Change your financial habits starting today. You can't change the past, but you can change how you move forward. Time commitment is low. Prevent missed payments by setting up automatic account reminders. Consider automatic payments to cover at least the minimum. You can do that too, guys. Look, I always say pay the balance in full. But look, if you're struggling, you need to make more money at the moment, and all you can do is afford the minimum, at least pay the minimum. Pay the minimum. Don't miss a payment. And then when you get a better paying job, say you start a business, you're pulling in more money, your business is making more money, pay those balances off. Don't let them sit. The longer those balances sit there, even though you may be paying the minimum, understand this, you're still going to be paying interest. And, it varies. Most credit cards is like a 29.99% APR for a lot of cards, even people who have good credit scores. So, and how fast it can work, it varies depending on how many payments you've missed and how recently is very critical too. And most of it matters how late the payment was. Was it 30, 60, 90 or more days past due? Fortunately, the impact of delinquent payments fades over time. Adding more positive credit accounts can help speed that up. So those are big. Guys, another one is I want to say is these are other options that I want to tell you. Dispute credit report errors. So they actually tell you that one in 5 people actually have credit reporting errors on their credit report. So there's different ways you can check your credit report for free. You can use Credit Karma. You can use annualcreditreport.com to request them and check for mistakes. You get 1 free credit report per year from them. Once you've identified your errors, dispute those credit card errors. These are things that can help you as well, especially if they're really, really large errors. So definitely, there's different numbers on here too. You can find the numbers for Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. Deal with collections accounts. If you have account collections, this essentially means there's something that is unpaid. It's delinquent. Paying off a collections account removes the threat that you will ever be sued over debt. And this can happen for, multitude of reasons. It could be from medical bills, etc., whatever. Student loans. If you don't pay your student loans, goes delinquent, and you go delinquent and you default, and it goes right to collections. You may be able to persuade the collection agency to stop reporting the debt once you pay it. You can remove collections from your accounts and from your reports if they aren't accurate or too old to be listed. I've known somebody who, after 7 years, something from collections faded off their report. So, another option is you can use a secured card. So I'm going to tell you this right now. Another way to rebuild your credit is a secured card. This type of card is backed by a cash deposit a lot of the times. So you pay it up front, and the deposit amount is usually the same as your credit limit. Then you use it like a normal credit card, and your on-time payments help build your credit. It's almost like utilizing a debit card, money you were already going to spend, and it builds your credit. It's a debit card that works as a credit card to build your credit. Secured cards are great because even if your credit score is horrible, like tanked horrible, like really, really bad, like you can't qualify for any credit cards. A secured card is something that you could qualify for. This can help someone. It's slowly over time. It may take several months, but I'll be honest, the goal here is not just to have another card. It's ultimately the aim is to build a record of keeping balances low and paying on time, showing your trustworthiness. And if you can do that and you can show that you can manage your money effectively, the credit bureaus will trust you more. Your score will go up. You'll qualify for more cards. And the closer you get to that 800 ideal score. All right, so let's just walk through the final ones here. Get credit for rent and utility payments. This is another thing you can do. Experian Boost may help. There's different things out there, guys. Check. And I want to go through the final one here. The final one is add to your credit mix. This is another one. Credit mix is a smaller percentage. I think it's like 15% of your credit is credit mix. Credit mix is something essentially it's a you have to understand the sources of where your credit's coming from, or credit cards, auto loans, mortgage on a house, etc. There's different credit vehicles. So if you have all your money in credit cards, it's an easy fix. You can mix around where your money's at. Now, ideally, I don't tell you to just go out and get a car or just go out and get a mortgage. Understand that, if you have a credit card and that's all you can really do right now, over time that happens. It can work fast as soon as you start doing it, but I want you to be honest. Like, don't just go out and get a car to get a car. Make sure that you can afford the payments comfortably and not have to struggle. But honestly, a credit mix can help your score. Having different types of credit, it ultimately shows the credit bureaus that you can responsibly manage different sources of credit. So if you have credit cards, you're also paying down an auto loan, and then you have a mortgage, you're paying down your mortgage monthly. It ultimately shows the credit bureaus and lenders that you have a responsible history of paying down different sources of credit responsibly. And that's going to boost your score, and that's going to help you qualify for different things. When you ideally have a credit score of 700 or more, credit card companies are chasing you to offer you the best of everything. They're offering to throw money at you. If you got a credit score in the 400s, for example, this is how different. If it's a 450 or lower, say, good luck getting, you might not even be able to qualify for $1 from these companies. So that 300 point difference right there could be the difference between you not qualifying for a single dollar and qualifying for everything. The moment you go up to the door, a lender's going to want to throw it all at you. As long as you say can qualify financially, they're going to want to offer you the best possible options. You get the best interest rates, etc. So it's big. It's big when buying a home. It's big, if they run a credit check when renting an apartment, when buying your first car, whatever it is. So those are my tips to build your score fast. Some strategies work quicker than others. But guys, if you can put all these together, these can really boost your score 100 points or higher, and probably in a very quick amount of time. Now, for a more tailored approach, when I set up my system, I want by the time the fall kind of comes around, I will kind of come back to this. I want to set up a community to give actually more in-depth advice, so I don't just have to do them on these episodes. But again, I was saying we will have more parts to these episodes when I have more people on here, and I can bring in other professionals that can offer you their advice as well. And it's not just me talking, because it is good to have perspective. So very critical there. Guys, with the 55-minute mark, I wanted to go about an hour, and we are at about 9 o'clock because I started a couple minutes late. I see some viewers that come in. I know it's later in our usual schedule. I do apologize. I know it's a Thursday night in the summer. A lot of people on vacation. Ray, thanks for tuning in, brother. For anyone else out there who was tuning in, let me actually check the Facebook comments before I come here. So let's see if there's anything here. Let's check here. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And guys, we are making positive news. We were able to stream on both Facebook pages today. So a beauty here for sure. Making progress. I like to see that. I'm glad that I was able to kind of put that together last week, and now I'm able to get both Facebook pages rocking again. So I love to see progress. Guys, check out our poll on the Facebook pages if you haven't already. I'll try to put it up on Instagram too. Vote and let us know what content you want to see overall in the picture. I put up different examples. One of them was relationships and dating advice. One of them was health and fitness advice. And then I went from sports advice. I put other, and then I've also put topics like this: wealth building, and personal finance. So this was the one that is winning so far. But I want you guys to honestly put something, because there's other personal development besides health and wealth and relationships. So there are different types of personal development. So put in there if you want to talk certain sports content, put other as well, and then just let us know. That being said, guys, I want to tell you, have a great weekend. We'll be back for episode 180 next Thursday. Again, I'm really excited to show you guys the next 6 weeks of what we have going on throughout the close this summer. Fantastic stuff. A lot of bites. YouTube is growing. We're getting inquiries. It's fantastic. I love it because I get to bring other people to bring them a voice on here. At the same time, I get to offer you guys advice. Ladies and gents, men and women, guys and gals, ladies, I love offering you guys advice. So being able to, not offering you guys advice, but just being able to help you guys in different areas. It's one of the missions of why we started this podcast. So that being said, have a great night, guys. Great weekend. We'll see you next week for episode 180. Stay safe and continue to level up your life. If you comment after this episode's over, I will still respond. So still drop your comments. Hit the like so YouTube will push this out. Facebook, same thing. Hit the like button and comment. It will help push our content so we can help other people. Have a good night, guys. Great weekend. We'll see you next week.